2009 marked the year that a possible new epidemic, the swine flu, rose. A reported 11,516 people have died from the swine flu by December 2009. If you think that's scary, you haven't met its older cousin, the Spanish flu, where an estimated 50 million people died. Now that's scary. I'm doing my presentation on the Spanish flu, an epidemic of 1918 to 1919. The official name is Influenza A H1N1, as it was another type of that same virus. The Spanish flu was only isolated in 1933, despite the first instance of this virus appearing in America in 1918. The reason for that was that no samples of the virus were found. It was a group of scientists, not just one, that isolated the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu virus does not exist anymore because the virus has mutated into the forms of the virus we see today. But during the epidemic of 1918 to 1919, an estimated 50 million people died worldwide from the Spanish flu. The epidemic was so severe that it had decreased the average lifespan of an American by 10 years during these 2 years. The virus is spread throughout the world, in North America, Africa, Asia, Europe, Brazil, and the South Pacific. In India, it was particularly dangerous, with 50 out of every 1,000 people dying from the Spanish flu. There were more than 500,000 deaths in America. One reason this virus was so peculiar is that it was severe on healthy young adults from the ages of 20 to 40. Other influenza viruses usually infect the young kids and the elderly due to their weaker immune system. This is shown in the graph. The Spanish flu rewrote the history books. About 50 million people died, more than the number of deaths in World War I and the bubonic plague, which is better known as the Black Death. It also infected a few famous people. American President Woodrow Wilson got the Spanish flu, but recovered from it. Also, newspaper reporter Catherine Ann Porter and silent film actor Harold Lockwood died from the Spanish flu. Since it is an influenza virus, it is spread via person to person. In this way, it was spread through the air. The Spanish flu spread throughout the world because of the many soldiers returning to their home country from Europe after the World War I. The body responds with the normal immune response, which is started off by a fever or the inflammatory response. One thing that made it harder to kill was that the virus had developed 2 mutations on its attachment proteins, making it hard to produce the right antibody and allowing the virus easier access into host cells. The symptoms are like any other influenza, only in an advanced stage. They were fever over 101 degrees Fahrenheit in adults and often as high as 103 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit in children, chills and sweats, headache, dry cough, muscular aches and pains which were especially in your back, arms and legs, fatigue and weakness, nasal congestion, loss of appetite, and diarrhea and vomiting in children. The Spanish flu has mutated and become like the viruses today, like swine flu. For influenza viruses, you can take a flu shot. Sometimes antiviral medicine like Tamiflu can also be used.